Hello everyone and welcome back to the Python programming series. In today's video, we are diving into one of the most fundamental concepts in Python, that is string literals. Whether you are just starting out or brushing up on the basics, this lesson will help you understand how to work with text and characters in your code. In Python programming, apart from numbers, another important type of literal is the string literals, or simply a string. A string represents a sequence of characters. These characters can include letters, numbers or digits, special characters, and even blank spaces. Which type of quotes should be used for strings in Python? In Python, you can define a string using single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes. We use single quotes or double quotes for single line strings. Meanwhile, we use triple quotes for lines or strings that spans multiple lines. By default, Python programmers use single quotes. They use double quotes when your string contains an apostrophe or single quote character. This helps avoid confusion and keeps your code clean and readable. Here are few valid examples of string literals in Python. Let us look at two common string types, empty strings versus blank strings. An empty string has no characters at all. Meanwhile, a blank string contains one or more spaces between the quotes. Even though they may look alike, when printed, Python treats them differently. Each has its own use depending on the programmer's logic. What if your string contains quotes? Sometimes your strings need to include a quote character. Here, this particular string is a valid string. Since the string is enclosed in double quotes, and it can safely contain a single quote inside it. However, this particular string is an invalid string. The reason is the Python thinks the apostrophe after the Smith ends the string Jennifer Smith, leading to a syntax error because this particular quote is left unintended. So remember, use single quotes by default, use double quotes when your string contains a single quote or apostrophe. Now let's execute some examples in Python ideally and discuss why each one fails or works. So I'll just first execute the first two lines. So the output is displayed. This indicates that first two lines are valid strings. The reason is because we have used single quotes at the beginning and at the end. The same logic is applied over here as well. We have used the same double quotes at the beginning as well as at the end, so they match. I'll run the next line of code. So now we have a syntax error which says that it is an unterminated string literal. So here we can see that this time we have began with a single quote, but we have ended with a double quote. So we can either go with double quotes at the beginning and at the end, or we can replace this double quote with a single quote. Okay, so we'll move on to the next. Let's see. Okay, so it's a valid string. So this works perfectly because we have used double quotes on the outside, and the apostrophe in let's is treated as a normal character inside the string, so there's no confusion. Then the next. So now it has raised in syntax error. This fails because Python sees the apostrophe in let's as the end of the string. So everything after the string is treated as a separate character. So this is a syntax error. So we can rectify this by replacing it with a double quotes. So it is advisable to replace it with double quotes in the beginning and at the end if there is a apostrophe in the middle. Okay, so we'll run this. Then now. So we'll go with the example of, I'll explain you the example with an example about this empty string. So this is called an empty string. There's nothing inside the quotes. Okay, so I can just, okay, it's an empty string. Now the Python will print nothing because there's nothing inside the quote, but it is still a valid string. So it is still a valid string. Now, so this is an example for blank string. This may look empty, but it actually contains a single space, or you can have any amount of space you want. So either 1, 2 or 3. So the Python actually prints 3 blank spaces and it is entirely different from empty string. Okay. So remember, use single quotes by default but switch to double quotes if your string contains an apostrophe, and always match your opening and closing quotes to avoid syntax errors. Thank you. We'll catch up soon with another session.